right, cool.
Look here, boy. I know you living that outlaw lifestyle and all, but you know what that's gonna get you? Locked up. You gonna have your face on a wanted poster. You gonna be cuffed up in chains behind bars. You don't wanna do that, boy. You gonna be a wanted man. High speed down the wicked path. Gotta be smart, think quick and fast. Move slick, trick and play solo. Speak slang in ways they just don't know. Cause when the moon comes out, we ride. Outlaws on the move, so move aside. Hard to survive in a world that don't care. Poor man struggle, rich cats they won't share. Think twice when you plan your route. Ain't nobody giving no hand us out. Stand up, push and keep going. Blow with the wind, cause the wind keeps blowing. And when it's all said and done, it's true. They'll be looking at your dirty, pointing fingers at you. Keep with the crew, don't trust where you don't stand. Words from a wanted man. I done broke the law, hands tied in cuffs. I'm a wanted man, doing what I can to survive when times are rough. Cause when the sun goes down and I'm on the move, right with the moon, I'm just an outlaw. Back roads in the mountain city, my partner in crime stays riding with me. Shortcuts in the hills, I know these. Getaway drive, shake the police. Cause if you get caught slipping and you take a fall, do the time like a man, never let him get us fall. One phone call turns the light green. Rules of an outlaw, untold, unseen. Street justice, no peace. Gotta keep an eye open so we don't sleep. Steady tripping on my mind. Smoking backwood blunt, sipping jars of moonshine. Noontime comes and they ready to draw down. Kicking up too much dust for this small town. Gather round the system, it was all a scam. Labeled criminal, word from a wanted man. I done broke the law, hands tied in cuffs. I'm a wanted man, doing what I can to survive when times are rough. Cause when the sun goes down and I'm on the move, right with the moon, I'm just an outlaw. Living outside the law, from the wild west side. Full moon moving with the pack. Close folks, only ones who get your back. Midnight, strike down the dirt road. Old school outlaw with the first load. Under street lights, crimes are violent. And even with the witness.
Well, everybody, welcome to the Weed Nerd Show. Kicking in the night a little strong with a little wanted man, Mendo Dope. Awesome show tonight. We're going to get back to our roots. Pun intended. I don't even know if Clayton knows that, like, I go back so far. I can remember when Aurora was slab, a couple of bobcats, and a couple of sprinklers. So, yeah, I'm back a long, long way. But first, let me get you guys warmed up, tell you what's going on tonight. We hope to have Leafly in the house tonight. Little connection problem, but sometimes that gets straightened out during the show. A lot of cool stuff going on. If you follow me on Instagram, Farmer John and Dread came out today. So we had the new cages from Grow Efficient Cages. They're metal canopies that we put on. And I don't know how we missed it, but these things have brackets. And when we finished, we had all the brackets pointing to the inside. We were so proud of this thing last night. I hit myself in the hip with one, and then I backed into it with my spine, and I said, you know what? We got to completely rebuild this grow room. So we rebuilt all of the cages to where the bolts stick on the inside. And this seems like a small thing, and you wonder how 4 grown men could miss it, but we fucking missed it. So now we can walk down the center of them, and everything just looks so much better. And I got to tell you, we're really enjoying these Grow Efficient cages. A lot of people are asking me why we would use these over just a regular trellis net or canopy. And it is the weight. The weight of these things pushes the plants down and makes them grow laterally. And we're turning a small, well, it ain't a small plant, but we're turning a plant into a 5x5 canopy. So we think that's really cool. We'll see what goes on here as far as sizing. We're looking to get about 4 pounds per plant, but we're budding a little early just because of the way it works out. It's time to put the cages on there and get them going. Also this week, we did an upgrade on our power, which is something that's been greatly needed. It's not the lights that we're having a problem with because I planned for that, but like that Quest dehumidifier, I didn't think about that, all these fans and everything that you have to keep going. So we're upgrading to a 400 amp service here on Wednesday, and then we'll be adding a couple of things. Also in the house tonight, and y'all will be finding more about that, we got the new Hydro Farm 600 SEs in. Really cool unit. It's a dual fixture. It does HPS metal halide 600, but I don't like the spread. And it's only been here a little bit, but I got to tell you, it's in that 3-foot corridor, and it's kind of shooting right down over the plant. You know how those big XXL Hydrofarm hoods spread that light out in that good 4-foot pattern? Well, this little hood here is like 8-10 inches by 16, and it shoots a pattern that small. So we will be continuing to experiment with the new lights. The big benefit of it is ballast mount. You hang it, you're done with it. And so we've got them up and running now over the Purple Punch. We'll see how that runs. The Purple Punch smells incredible. Not huge in size because it's been under the LEDs and moved around, but really excited on the smell and the taste of it. Also, I got my medical card this week. So I've been operating off of the California medical card. Arizona has a program here. If you have a card from another state, you can use it, but you can't go in a dispensary or anything. So I have my Arizona driver's license and my Arizona medical card now, patient card. So I can actually go in a dispensary and overpay for weed. I'm so fucking happy. But actually what I can do is go visit lots of people. All right. I want to go ahead and get really started real quick. We have a wonderful opportunity tonight. Roots is a company that has been around for a long time making soil. I'm going to mess some of this up, but I first met them in Oregon. So they were originally founded in Eugene, Oregon by a group of conscious organic gardeners. Aurora Innovations is dedicated to bringing you superior and unique organic gardening products so that you and our planet be happy and healthier. So I first was using Pro Mix, bales of Pro Mix, you know, the old black bales of Pro Mix you cut open with your razor knife. And I started reading about Liardonite. And I was like, wow, these guys went and dug this mineral out of a cave. And I started growing in roots, just roots, no super soil. And I got an amazing product. And a lot of people don't know this, and I don't know if Clayton knows this. Fucking super soil was based on the Roots formula. I took Roots formula and I just beefed it up. I put more bone meal, more blood meal, more everything in there and got it. And we still to this day use Roots. Welcome to the show, Clayton.
Hey, how's it going?
Life is good, man. Life is good. It's good to be in the dirt soil business right now, right? There's people going crazy, yeah?
Dude, the industry is going crazy. I mean, have you ever seen a time like this?
Nah, we really have. I've got an 80,000 square foot greenhouse I'm fixing to put super soil in. So yeah, it's a whole new game, right?
Oh yeah. How's Arizona treating you?
We like it a lot. I mean, I'm having a good time. It is well, it's certainly better than being in California right now because they can't figure out what the fuck is going on there. And basically here we have a stricter set of rules, Clayton, but as long as you follow the rules, pretty much wide open here.
Know what you're doing.
Yeah. A little bit more permitting, a little bit more filling out. I am one of 2,000 registered grows in the state of Arizona, so we're registered with the state. So there's about 9,000 unregistered. So I got a little problem with that. So
okay.
So tell us about your new East Coast facility up in New York. I had no idea that you guys were expanding that far.
Yeah, no, it took a couple of years. It's definitely been in the making. It all kind of had to gel together, like in just all at once in some ways, because in order to make that facility function, we had to replace our West Coast facility our West Coast mix line to send out our old West Coast mix line is now the New York mix line. And now over here, we have a way superior mix line to our old one as far as just speed and consistency goes.
And when you say mix line, you're talking about the machinery that mixes, fills, and puts it in the bags, correct?
Yeah. No, I mean, we really stepped into like the future with our new mix line compared to where we used to be. It's highly automated, and I don't know if you've seen a pallet of our soil recently, but it's stacked way cleaner than it ever was before, and all the hydro stores are real happy about that. So.
Yeah, I bought a pallet not too long ago from a local depot, hydro depot, and I was like, "The fuck, it's a cube!" But man, you got a badass machine,
dude.
That's
cool. It's nice.
I want to ask you, I've got some prepared stuff for me and you talk about, but I want to go off base real quick and just talk about something that it literally happened yesterday in chat. It happens all the time. Give you a chance to actually talk about the industry a little bit. So one of the first things somebody said last night is so-and-so soil comes with bugs. Well, we already know that the bugs don't necessarily live in the soil. They don't kind of work like they come to the soil because it's a nice house. Can you expand on this whole idea that any soil could come preloaded with pests?
I mean, it's kind of like, you know, if you buy fruit at the fruit store or something like that, anytime you have an organic substance that is a food source, you are going to be attracting stuff to it. You can do so much to keep it away from there. But if you have something that's just sitting somewhere for a long period of time, you know, like I got my tractor out last winter and I had a mouse under the hood, you know, and it's the kind of thing that if something sits somewhere for a while, definitely nature can be pervasive and find its way into places. But as far as like, you know, man, it really is. It's one of those things where you have to be really on top of the ball to be knowing that you're at least running your composting in a way to where you are fully composting a compost and it is now a clean compost. Aside from compost, there really aren't any other ingredients in like our soil, at least like our media, you know, cocoa, peat, perlite. Those aren't really food sources. They could be considered a home, you know, like if something decided to, for whatever reason, was able to find a trail in somewhere, that could be somewhere it decides to land. But as far as stuff looking for compost, you know, it's one of those ones where definitely like fungus gnats would be the culprit that are probably most common to be able to make it into a bag of soil. And that's just one of the ones that like, you know, luckily for me, I can sleep well at night knowing how easy fungus gnats are to kill. You know, like I don't have a background in sales. I have a background in gardening. You know, I've been gardening for many years. Actually, my first job, I worked at a hydro store when I was in high school. So from 17 on, I've been in the industry. So going on 10 years right now. I haven't been in it forever, but, you know, I've had my hands in some dirt for quite some time now. And, you know, it's one of those things where fungus gnats were never a plague where I slept well at night knowing I was going to my garden to clean up fungus gnats, whereas other problems will keep me up at night, you know. I might not go to bed. Instead, I'll stay up and fight the pest, you know.
I hear it. A little BT, a little IPM, pretty simple stuff.
Man, just some of those yellow traps. Like I just run a few yellow traps. No males show up, you know. They all just get stuck to the trap. It's pretty simple stuff.
Love it. And the reason I bring this up is because and I'm sure you follow me a little bit, but, you know, when everybody was doing the hydro, I was like, look, guys, you don't have to use hydro to go dank. I was one of the first people to prove that. You don't have to pour tons of stuff on your soil because I took your roots and simply beefed it up a little bit. One of the things I don't know if you saw because my computer burned up in the fire and I'm not on this thread anymore, but I did a great side-by-side one time with Jack's Cleaner. I ran roots in a 10-gallon pot. And then I ran roots in a 10-gallon pot with about 12 inches of super soil. And the only difference was the roots plant faded just a little bit sooner and it finished about 5% lighter. And I really want you to understand, everybody listen to what I just said. I didn't do a fucking thing but put a clone in a pot and water it. That's it. That's it. Nothing else. No nitrogen, no phosphorus, nothing, no teas, just water. And I think I got 8.5 ounces off that one plant. You know, the plant with the super soil in it, it got like 10. It was a little just tastier, but I was always blown away. I was like, you know, if I was a fucking idiot and all I knew how to do was just put the dirt in a bucket and water it with water, I would get incredible results. And I got $4,500 a pound for the weed I grew in roots with water. So, you know, right? So I see you got your new line here in Eugene. Now, a lot of companies outsource their products to different regions. You guys don't do that. You make it and ship it, correct?
Man, no. We definitely, it's been kind of a crazy, you know, the last couple of years have been crazy for us and just the industry's grown and we've grown with it. You know, I think it was about 2 years ago, we purchased a peat moss company up in Alaska So it used to be Alaska Peat, is now Aurora Peat. So we are now our own peat supplier, which anytime a market, when you're dealing with a seasonal product, the market can fluctuate and the price can go up and down. But when you control your inputs, then you're number one in that feeder system. So you know that you are guaranteeing the top quality product for that whole season, and you're not going to run out or face any fluctuation issues, because you're keeping track of what you're going to need for the season. On top of that, we are the largest vessel worm compost manufacturer in the world. So as far as worm compost that's manufactured in indoors environments, we're the largest manufacturer in the world. And we're basically our own, we are our own supplier, and we supply some other people, but we use the majority of that in-house, just creating our own products. And so it just, as the industry's grown and as peak season is every year, just an insane thing to keep up with, like, I don't know if you've ever faced it a couple years back, but we used to run into shortages for probably like, June roughly, like just peak season. We can't do anything about that, and so we put in a faster line, and then we're able to secure all of our own inputs in a way that we really don't run into those hiccups anymore,
Funny you said that. In Salem, around 420, I would empty out Northern Lights and Gardens. Just fucking empty it. I say, well, the Roots is about to run out here. Their Bobcats can't run that fast. But seriously, did you guys build all of this from that little operation that I came and visited you guys 15 years ago? We really did?
Yeah.
Dude, that's mind blowing. I mean, I met these guys, and I'm not cutting it down. It's a very nice building, very well put together, but it's just a damn metal building with a slab out there and a couple of Bobcats and a lot of passion. And hell, I didn't know I'd bought you enough goddamn bags to expand throughout the damn world. But there are definitely a lot of people in this world that, because of the Super Soul recipe that I put out there, they didn't even know there is any. It's like, get 9 bags of Roots. It's like, fuck yeah, that's what Sub said to use.
No.
Talking about that, let's talk about innovation. So you guys have some new bag sizes and styles.
Yeah, I mean, we've done some rebranding in the last couple of years. Nothing too crazy, but like, maybe you're talking about the soil sizes.
Yep, soil sizes. Yep.
That's exciting. Yeah, no, I'm actually really excited about that. We are now offering our 707 in a 3-gallon. So it used to only be available in a 20-gallon grow bag, a 10-gallon grow bag, and now we tossed in a 3-gallon size. So you can grow right in the bag. We can get 250 of those on a pallet. So off of one pallet pre-packaged, you just cut the top off and put a plant in it. So like, depending on your workforce and how many people you got, like, if you just need to be able to plant out 250 plants, it's as simple as cutting the top off the bag, and it's one of those things where it's kind of cliche to say this, or I feel it feels salesy, but our dirt comes in a pot. It is potted dirt, whereas everyone else's dirt comes in a trash bag, I
used to go, why are these fucking holes in the bag? God damn it. It's shit spilling out in my Jeep. Oh, it's a grow bag.
Yeah.
That's genius. Yep. I mean, it really is genius. Now, look, I'm going to beat you up here and take the time. I've never bothered to ask anyone, and you can laugh. What's the main difference between 707 and original? I do realize it's Peat, but I mean, can you say it differently than that? Because I use original.
So it's one of those things where, like, just because you have a bunch of options doesn't make a huge difference. But I'm sure you can appreciate that once you really understand how your garden runs and how you like to use the products that are offered to you in a hydro store, it's one of those things where small finesse moves can really be like, those are the pro tips, those are like the things where you shave little amounts of time and you're really able to peak performance. So 707 is a little bit lighter. It is our lightest, like actual soil blend, it is basically meant to have about a week worth of like upfront food. It's going to have a couple weeks of background food, but it's going to be meant for being fed right, like pretty much right away. It's for people who want to have control of their garden pretty much immediately, or people that are going to do a bunch of stuff. You're going to be adding, like doing a super soil or something. Then you can adjust it. It's also the value soil, I guess. It was the first one that came in the 3 cubic foot bag. As far as the Roots Original goes, that is our most balanced soil. So NPK wise, most balanced. And even the peat, perlite, and cocoa, it is the most balanced of those. So you are going to have a little bit better drainage in the Roots Original with a little bit larger NPK package, but it's going to be a balanced NPK, whereas the 707 is going to be a real similar NPK, but just less, and then a little bit more water holding capacity, more designed for outdoor gardeners who are then going to apply their own program, you know?
Got it. Sorry.
What kind of dog you got?
I apologize. So what is Greenfields?
Greenfields is our hottest soil. Greenfields is one of my favorite soils of ours. It really offers kind of a couple of things. If you're an aggressive gardener and you're really just trying to like peak performance, Greenfields is going to give you, most of our soils are designed to have more of a background nutrient profile that you can kind of feed on top of and bring in some available nutrient. And then they're going to have more of a background organic nutrient that's going to be kind of slower to become available. The Greenfields is our only soil that we put a marine compost in. It's pretty significantly stronger than the Roots Original. And it is it's the most nitrogen focused in NPK of any of our soils. In general, I tell people not really to go into bloom within like 2 to 3 weeks of planting in Greenfields. I mean, that depends. If you're throwing them in like 300-gallon pots, that changes all the math. But say you're going from like a 2-gallon pot to like a 5-gallon pot, I like to give it about 2 weeks of veg time. And then I might, that third week of available nutrient is when I'll flip over my lights and I'll get one last stretch in bloom out of that third week of available nitrogen. So it's just a little bit more nitrogen strong. One of my favorite ways is if you got to take off for a couple of weeks, that's a great soil to just throw your plants in. If you have a farmhand that can just handle some plain water for like a week or two, you know, you're going to come back to real healthy, happy plants with no effort, you know, and you need to take a little Costa Rica break or something. That's a great one to just throw some plants in for a minute and get out of town.
I like it. I like green fields. I get it. That's completely. And then green light.
Yeah. That's indoor. That's a real close to the package of Roots Original, but then just a lot more perlite. You're just talking, you know, a quicker watering program.
And then the other product I want to talk about that, I mean, I didn't even know you had all this stuff. I haven't been to your website in a long time. So microgreens, this is seed starting and clone starting. Yeah.
Dude, that's a really cool one, man. I've actually, I've started visiting some farms that are doing some big things with that. And it's one of those things where when you get to see a couple thousand plants in a side-by-side situation, that's when it really shines and you can really just see definitive answers. And I just visited a facility that they're running our Roots Original is what they go rooted clones, like rooted cuts, straight into Roots Original. They just switched over and did a side-by-side of the microgreens. And it has a way lighter nutrient profile than the original, but it has extra black humic material, which it has more black humus than any of our soils. So it's just designed more for developing root zones. And then it's our finest screen soil. So like overall, all the materials in it are significantly smaller, but that for a developing root zone, there's no pressure. There's no weight to move beyond, you know?
So it's just sorted finer, sifted finer.
Yeah, it's our finest. I mean, we use our propagation grade perlite. It's real. The whole material is very finely screened. But it's cool because it's like, I don't like it for anything larger than a 1-gallon pot roughly. But you know, you'll see an improved root zone starting your clones in that compared to our other soils. It really is pretty impressive.
Now, how come I'm not seeing your big worm and your earthworm at the stores around here?
Man, it's you know,
I'm feeling cheated, dude. I'm like, damn.
Dude, give me a name. I'll work on them.
All right, cool. Yeah, I'll call you next week. Seriously, I can't believe I'm using Uncle Bob's Wiggle Head or whatever the fuck when you guys make worms.
For sure.
And because I am a loyal guy, I will tell you guys, a lot of people ask me why I use roots. Because I've built a couple of houses using roots. And I mean, that's consistency is something that you guys have delivered all the way across. And that leads to, so you guys are actually in developing your own house microbiology lab so that you can be making your own microhaze and beneficial bacteria, correct?
Yeah. So that started a couple years back. We started manufacturing our own mycorrhiza. It was kind of a slow start at first, you know, just because of the way that you you kind of got to get the ball rolling. But basically, we were able to, about 3 years ago, we started our microbiology lab. I mean, man, that was a massive, we got a whole team of fucking scientists now, you know, and it's like they're full time on the job. But we got some pretty impressive, I forget the name of all the machinery, but we can do DNA sequencing or DNA testing, tissue testing. We do all on-site mineral analysis for all of our soils and stuff. So our lab got built out pretty good. And at that point, we were able to start trying to figure out what products we were going to produce ourselves. One of the easiest ones being mycorrhiza, because there's not a whole, we're not trying to develop a new science there. We're just trying to, you know, create a product that's already a viable, known product. It's pretty interesting. I don't know. I don't like really remember all the big words that the lab uses, you know, when they start talking about stuff. But the way that we're like making it, you know, there's a few different things we did. We started our mycorrhiza stock on hemp stock. So you don't end up growing it entirely on hemp stock, but you can breed it onto a hemp stock, and then that's where you can get your starting materials from. Once you get your starting materials, this is where it gets into like some voodoo science I don't really understand, but they take a plant that they're able to attack with a virus. And when they attack this plant with a virus, the plant will start to take up all of its nutrient through its root zone. And it's a certain kind of, I believe it to be a certain kind of grass, but it will begin to take up all of its nutrient through its root zone and no longer need sunlight to continue on the root zone. It does some weird shit to the roots, where then we can just begin to farm roots rather than farming grass or farming material. And then it is then collected off of those root zones that we first infected to make them live without any upper material. And then we come through and we inoculate it with our mycorrhiza stock. And then the mycorrhiza stock grows on a root zone. It's been a pretty interesting process.
My God.
That's not even really the fun stuff, man. The fun stuff is we might be a year or two out from the fun stuff, and I don't really get to talk about it too much, but the microbiology lab isn't just making mycorrhiza. It's they're up to, you know, we're doing plant specific testing on microbiology. That is definitely, you know, we got PhD doctorate level science going on in our facility pretty much every day at this point.
Dude, that's awesome. Well, I'll tell you, one of the reasons that I built the Pool Grow is to invite people like you down. So cool. If you're ever down here, make sure you stop by. I got a big motherfucking pool full of roots.
Awesome.
Yeah. Big ass plants growing in it. Oh. And having said that, you know a lot about soil. So, and I ask everybody this question. Okay. So one of the biggest problems that we have is I'm using what's called low till in my pool. But the one difference is outdoors at the end of the season, you would chop, you would cover with straw. You'd have the whole year for it to become one with itself with the root ball and everything. I don't have that. I want to reuse these hundreds right away. So I'm going to cut the root ball out. John gave me a great idea to take a 5-gallon bucket and cut it like a set of teeth so you can sink it down in there and spin it.
I like that.
Yeah. But then, I mean, what would you do from that point? I mean, you're a dirt guy. You're a compost guy. What would your prep be for the next load?
So, I mean, to be honest, I am not, I say this with all respect. Growing up, I was a little bit more of a jock. And as I've gotten older, I've really come to respect nerds because they hold all the good information, you know? They're the people who help me with all of the things that make life easy, you know? But so when I talk no-till, I heard someone say this once, they called it nerd till. And I liked it because you need to know what you're talking about to do no-till. There's a lot of ways that nutrients become available. And you kind of have to understand what you're doing. You know, it's not the style of gardening I'm more used to is pulling your punches as you need to, you know, either top dressings or nutrient feedings, but allowing you get to see you're applying nutrient as you go, I guess. With the no-till program, I do understand that I am not a nerd till professional in that sense. What I would say, one thing you can do is we have a soil testing facility, and we would be more than happy to test your soil. So go ahead and we'll exchange some information after this, and you can start sending us samples, and we will give you back analysis of how you can then respond to that, you know? That's one of the things that we do is I'm actually working with a farm out of Washington right now, and they bought their soil from someone else, but they run our nutrients. And so, you know, being that they're asking us questions about our nutrients and they're running some soil we don't understand, because of their scale, we offered them, soil testing so that we know how our nutrients are then going to apply to their soil and make sure that they, have success with our nutrients. It's just one of those things where depending on your soil, depending on the genetics, depending on how hard you ran it, how much nutrient you threw in it, how big your plants got, like what you really like. We drop up to 20 or 30 pounds of nutrient per yard in some of our soils. Like,
right.
You never know, depending if you grew a couple pound plant, you might have robbed a few of those,
And it's really cool. It's with what we're doing here now, like we're even doing some really crazy stuff. Like when we trim our plants, we blend it and we feed it to the soil. The cover crop, when we trim it, we blend it with a Ninja. We feed it. And what's really cool, you can right now take and stick your hand down in my pots and lift, and hundreds of little bitty baby worms are jumping. Not the big long worms that we put in there to start with, but those little bitty Bama jumpers that jump around like they're fidgeting. All I can tell you is if your soil is making worms at 2 months old, it's probably happy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Very cool. Well, we will take you up on that soil test. And so I also want to go, I am simply blown away. I mean, you also sell packaged peat products now. So you guys have 55 cubic bales of peat moss, also 3.8 cubic feet bales. So, I mean, you sell the really big fuckers and then you sell the ones on the truck. When did you guys start? I mean, I know you said you have your own peat division, but when did you guys start packaging and selling your own peat?
So it was kind of a slow roll. We got the company. We started producing our own peat. We started developing our blends. We brought it back to the drawing board over the couple of years, kicked it out to some large scale people who are running similar professional mixes, got a good amount of feedback, and we've kind of been slow rolling it out. So I would say that this year is going to be the big year where we actually are giving those products a good, strong push. 2 to 3 years ago would have been more of a soft launch. Last year was a little bit more of an aggressive soft launch, I guess, in that sense. But now that we have them all, like we have our blends mixed to how we want it. We have a lineup that is diverse enough to where we feel comfortable, the variance between the products, offering a product that's going to be very similar to the other professional blends so that we don't have to train people how to start running. We want it to be something people are going to be familiar with, where when you're running one of these scalable gardens, you don't want it to be something brand new that's going to, totally be a new interaction that you're not used to. We want people to be able to run the nutrients they're comfortable with the genetics and have a similar experience. We also came out with our Precision Advantage, which has a larger nutrient profile. It's going to be a mineral profile, but something similar to the levels, I would say, of like a 707. None of our professional blends are designed to have so much nutrient that you wouldn't feed on top of them. They're designed to have a strong amount of background nutrient that is going to be like a lot of other professional blends. We're from this industry, so we are catering to our people. When you're talking other pro blends, they're catering to our people, but they're also catering to like poinsettias. It's not necessarily our industry. So when they talk lifespan, they're just dealing with other functions. We really had a focus to make sure that we didn't have a nitrogen drop off around week 3, certain things that you're going to be more used to seeing with a professional mix. So we offered a couple different styles, our classic, a little bit lower nutrient, our advantage, a little bit stronger nutrient. And then here real soon, we'll be dropping an organic classic, which is going to just be an organic cert,
You said something, and I'm not trying to get you guys in trouble specifically, but you said something that really got to me when I moved to Oregon. I felt very grassroots in the movement, and I felt like I was buying my soil from pot growers. I mean, that's how I felt. I mean, it really felt like a community, especially Eugene. Jesus, at that time, I mean, Eugene was a very unique, standing in the rain, smoking joints, right?
Yeah.
That's what Eugene is.
That was different.
All right, so I do want to. I messed up a while ago. We're going to talk about a lot more with Clayton about Roots products. We'll get into his nutrient lines, but I've got a special surprise for you guys today. Thanks to Callie Dab Queen. We're going to do a giveaway at the break. And we're going to do a number giveaway. Y'all know the game. 188 people are watching. It's for a gift pack. So this is what we're going to give away. It's a canister of CBD cream. This is all CBD products that can be shipped, okay? So this is CBD cream that you rub on aches and pains. This is really cool. These are 300 milligram CBD lotions. One's a sativa and one's an indica. So believe it or not, up or down for pain. Really cool. We got 3 cartridges as well. So these cartridges are, this one is honey. This one is pink lemonade. And this one is Fruit Loops. Again, this is CBD products. This is not THC, but CBD. And last but not least, a gram of CBD isolate. So we're going to do a number contest right at the 8 o'clock hour for you to win these. And I'll tell you guys, if you win this and you don't use CBD, make sure you pass it forward, as we always do here on the Weed Nerd Show. So working forward toward the break. We were supposed to have Leafly on the show tonight, but sometimes things mess up and don't connect the dots, like Madeline Martinez, who calls who calls our wonderful host Madagascar, and now I've changed his fucking name in my phone to go from Madagar to Madagascar because this fucking makes me laugh. I see the little fucking sloth every time I see his name now. So there you go. You've been tagged forever and ever and ever. We will get them back on. One of the reasons I'm excited to have Leafly on is they're supposedly coming out to the garden here soon. I know Madagar's been working with them to get him out here to do the story. But if you don't mind, before we get back to Clayton here real quick, I'm going to just shoot something real quick that's kind of cool. So Weed World called me about a month ago and asked me if I was going to write an article for the ad. I have a deal with Weed World. I write an article, and they run an ad for me. So I haven't had a new ad made since the house burned down. I've been busy developing 2 websites, going on all the stuff I've been doing, punching walls, breaking 3 bones in my finger, getting a pin inserted, awesome shit like that. So, hell, where was I going, Madagar?
Well, so you were talking about Leafly and
okay, thank you.
Them coming out.
You got me. Thank you. So Weed World called me and they wanted to me to write an article, and I don't have a camera, and I basically spend all my time typing on the new website. I got to type up roughly 30,000 words for the 2 new websites. So I'm going all over the place here with Clayton. I apologize. I'll be right back with you in just a second. So the TGA website was built by the piece of shit named Peat Mantra, who put a Bitcoin mining program in it. And when we found this out, we fired him, and the website was moved from his server to a new server. And apparently the way it was built, it's cannibalizing itself. So $7,000, and I'm rebuilding the old TGA website and doing some changes. Building the new Subcool site, which is basically all things Subcool. This show, anybody that knows me, you're going to be able to go to this one portal and find out about us. Tired of answering questions all the time. So I said I wasn't going to write an article, and he said, "Well, I'm going to have a reporter call you." So I'm going to just dust this thing off real quick. I really thought this was really pretty cool. So the name of this article, it's coming out in Weed World magazine. It's called "Terps Up, Dude." So this is by Weed World magazine, Paul. So after losing pretty much everything he had in the devastating wildfires last year, some people expected the eponymous Subcool to take some time to recover and potentially disappear from the scene for a little while. His house was destroyed along with countless seeds, strains, and memories, so nobody would hold it against him if he had a little sabbatical while he got himself back on his feet. Once the smoke had cleared and the fires were finally under control, he had time to reflect on what he had lost in such a savage and sudden event. But he could only decide to take it easy for 4 months. That's just not how he rolls. Dusting off his purple glasses, Subcool wasted no time in looking to the future. And it's funny how terrible events can often set off down a new path, which is totally unexpected. But when the hands of fate deal you a tough hand, you don't always have many options available. Initially, he was amazed by the kind offers of help and support him out to support the communities affected by the fire. But once he had time to think, it was time to get back to business. While he still has the same passion he always had for strains and seeds, Subcool saw trends in the cannabis markets and saw that there was much that could be improved. His new aim became clear. He had to develop a new and innovative product for the innovative and involving industry. Speak to anyone living in a recreational medical station, you'll find there has been a paradigm shift in the preferred methods of consumption across many aspects of the market. In recent years, the golden age of joints and blunts has been usurped by young pups on the block, with discerning consumers demanding ever more varied options when it comes to enjoying their favorite strains. One of the hottest methods currently doing the rounds is THCA distillate, perhaps because it hits such insane levels, 97 to 99%, and delivers a pretty mean punch. But some people have been critical of distillates because of the harsh taste delivered by some products on the market. Some may say this is a bit unfair criticism, yet you can't underestimate the desires of the connoisseur who demands all-round quality instead of just extreme how. However, when considering the demands of the fledgling market, you sometimes need a complete out-of-the-box idea to change the game. So completely, that's where Subcool set his sights. Having spoken with a wide selection of customers, he found that more and more people want the big hill that distillates with the flavor of their favorite high-quality strains. He also discovered that there are certain sectors of the market that's being underlooked and potentially have specific products developed specifically with them in mind. So after working his way to the top secret laboratory, actually John's laboratory, which we changed in this article, he is ready to unleash a whole new beast upon the world. Subcool's terp sauce. So terp sauce is highly concentrated, carefully crafted, insanely potent THCA crystals. It looks like this. And we're going to deliver it in something called a Daplicator. It's a pre-measured device that allows you to spooge out a single rice-sized gram dose with the touch of a button. Each dot can be consumed directly, put into a dabber, or added to a cone, spread onto a paper, or whatever else you fancy doing with it. Each Daplicator comes with 50 measured doses. The way he sees it is that is given one solid hit for a consumer per preferred method. So instead of the old syringe that you mash and you get the shit all over the place and it's going from your dab rig to here, this thing, you click it and it goes click and the pressure spooches out one hit. We think it's cool as shit. Furthermore, he insists on maintaining organic production methods throughout the process to ensure he can deliver a clean, natural product which packs awesome punch. He didn't expand on this like I wanted to, and I'm not going to tell him to edit his article, but really what it boils down to is this entire state produces products with no testing. Distillates, oils, Rick Simpson oil, RSO, candies. You can buy fucking butt plugs here that they have not been tested, and it's got to quit. So we know that when we test our product that they will too. So continue on this. Through his work with TGA Seeds, he has established that flowers, extracts, clones, and seeds, which have his name attached to them, are always of the highest quality, and has led to putting levels in place which records the dank standard. So for me, it's something which has to be maintained to ensure that the customers get exactly what we expect. What does this mean from everyone's favorite mean weed nerd? Well, it means he'll be developing a premium product that delivers innovation, quality, and finesse that's been tested, and we're going to do it for the same price as everybody else. We've studied the market out there, and we found out that we can go in at the same price as everybody else, $65 to $70 a gram, tested, a better product, no artificial terps, not floor sweepings, and give the customers and the patients a better product. So look for this article in Weed World magazine, and if you guys want a copy of it, I'll be glad to shoot you a copy of it. So I want to get back to Clayton here, and you're blowing my mind again. I'm on your site. You have an entire line of nutrients, dry nutrients, liquid nutrients. So before I get into all of it, I see you have terp tea down here.
Yeah.
Terp tea, bloom and grow. Come on, man. You're holding out. Tell me about it.
You know what? Let's get in touch after this, and I will send you some on Monday.
Okay.
So you'll be in the know right away. But as far as the terp teas go, if you're familiar with our Uprising line, it's a dry top scratch nutrient line, 3-part. We basically took a lot of those same ingredients, a few new ones, but pretty much real similar ingredients. We combined them in just 2 products instead of a 3-part, so just a grow and a bloom. And then we run it through a right now we're in a transition where we're about to go into it's about to get even better than it's been, but we micronize it. And so we turn the Uprisings into an incredibly small powder. It's very, very, very fine. It's the finest product that we make. So we take that product, and it is a inoculated, brewable, dry nutrient system. So you can put it into a tea brewer or a reservoir with an air stone or something like that and brew it into a nutrient. And that's where the inoculants will actually come into will actually bloom. You'll have a larger population of actually a thriving population, like a fruiting body, rather than just a dormant inoculant. But at that point, you can also just use it as a top scratch or a soil amendment. So it's a pretty diverse product. Really, my favorite part about it is our uprisings were like, I mean, man, I've had great success with our uprisings. I've used them for whole seasons, crushed it, zero issues. They're super easy to use, like tablespoons a week. We'd throw everything in a wheelbarrow, cruise around all the different plants. Really, really easy. This is kind of cool though, because when you've got a root mat, you're only going to be able to get so much penetration with a top scratch dry. But this is so fine that just the weight of the water and being fully suspendable, it is going to penetrate way deeper into a root system. So whereas the uprisings, I've had great success with them, but that you're limited with their mobility. Like tops, you're not making it 8 inches. If you got a strong root zone, like a thick fibrous root zone, you're not making it with as much penetration as the terp teas are going to give you. Way better coverage and way deeper penetration. On top of that, when you're talking like the uprisings, that's something that needs to be like, it's going to hydrate. It's going to become available. It's going to be a little bit more background, but a little bit slower to become available. Like the terp teas, it's such a small particulate. It's going to hydrate fast, and it's going to be eaten and dissolved by either the microbiology in your soil or just through water just becoming available, But it's an impressively fine product. Like I think when you see it, you'll trip out. It's like silt, it's like graphite.
I'm on the site taking a little trip down memory lane as you talk. I've used Ancient Amber foliar. I've used Extreme Serene. It's the blackest liquid known to fucking mankind. Do not spill it anywhere because it's really good quality stuff. I also see here the Trinity. That's a microbial stimulant, correct?
Yeah, that would be one of our catalysts. That and our Surge are kind of the two catalysts of the line. That's going to be more of our molasses, kelp-based catalyst, whereas you're going to have the Surge is going to be more of a fish protein-based catalyst. That's the one that I really like, either as like, I use Trinity pretty much full through the cycle. There's really nowhere where I don't see a position for it. But it will kind of depend on my brews. Some of the times I'd rather brew a Surge brew and have a little bit slower bloom and a little bit less available catalyst. Or if I'm running Trinity, it's going to be a faster brew, just as far as how fast I'll reach my desired pHs and stuff.
You got a baller website, the Player Pack.
Yeah.
Includes a variety of dry products. I love it. I wanted to ask you about, let's go to Soul. So I didn't even know about Soul. So that's a different line, correct?
Yeah. So that would be our partial synthetic line. Our Roots Organics line, actually everything Roots Organics nowadays, anything with the Roots Organics label on it is CDFA certified organic. Okay. Big Worm is also Omri. We're working on our Omri stamps right now. We did CDFA first, which after the way California's going, we're glad we went with CDFA. But we're coming behind that with Omri just because people are asking for it and we're working on it. They're both NOP regulatory bodies. We're splitting hairs, but we're gonna have those tags at some point too.
All right, so salt derived products for hydro industry, stuff like that.
Well, so the Soul is actually across the board. It's like 50% organic. It's a pretty organic synthetic line. But we wanted something that you could use in drip in sprayers and more hydroponic style systems. A little bit easier water delivery, a little bit more available nutrient. Our organics really benefit from a 24 to 48 hour brew time, and we wanted something that was a little bit quicker to move. And so Soul is just more available, faster. If I'm out of town, I get in town on a Friday night and I got to feed, I'm running Soul. If I got 2 days to do a brew, then I might go terp teas, might go Buddhas. You got some options there,
God, you guys have expanded from that little shop. I'm actually blown away, man. My props to you. So
Cool.
after, don't forget at the break, we're going to be giving away a CBD package after the break. After the show, I got a surprise for you. You'll be ending the show a little bit tonight because we only had one guest and got a good bit more stuff to talk about with Clayton and pick his brain. But Father Mike and Ruby are here. They cruised on through so they wouldn't disrupt the show. But once we come back from on the second part of the show, we're going to sit around and tell stories, smoke bowls, all that good stuff. So can I ask you, Clayton, I mean, do you have a favorite strain? Can you talk about that while you're on?
Man, favorite strain. It's hard. It's so regional, you know, and also it depends what you're talking about. Like some of my favorite strains are just like wispy sativas and stuff. But that's because, you know, even in my greenhouse days, we'd only run one in the greenhouse. You know, it's a sacrifice. You're giving up square footage. It's not done till late October if it finishes, you know, especially up here in Oregon. So it kind of depends. As far as just my go-to for the last couple of years has been Lamb's Breath Sour Diesel. That's been my
own taste. No, my Jack's Cleaner is a Lamb's Breath cross. So.
Okay.
Yeah, nothing stimulating like that.
Do you still have names for that? Are those still out?
Oh yeah. Jack's Cleaner is it's a mix of Lamb's Bread and Pluton and Northern Lights. It's about 35 years old, and it makes people shake. It's pretty fucking intense. Hit me up. I'd be glad to send you a pack. No problem.
Awesome.
So this next question is baited. I'll answer it for you. Where can you get root soil? Jesus, I mean, if your grow shop doesn't carry it, tell them to pick up the phone. But you guys have national distribution?
Man, yeah, definitely national. It's actually been fun, you know. As this industry expands, we're actually available in more countries now. So we're available in, I believe, Chile. I think we've had some products go into Colombia, Panama. Costa Rica has 5 hydro stores. I'm friends with the owner. I've actually went and done a couple of vendor days down there. They rep our products real hard. Yeah, we're available definitely everywhere in the States. And then we're working on countries at this point. So it's fun. I'm working on my Spanish. So
I can remember. Well, you know what? It's funny that you say that. I shot a Weed Nerd recorded version earlier, and I do the news on it. And Colombia is gearing to be the largest producer of cannabis on the planet.
Yeah,
they're gonna run off the Opera Roja, the Colombian Gold, Panama Red, man. They understand marketing. They know us gringos want the old style, and that's how they're gonna market it. And they're gonna grow tons of it. And it amazes me that we're going to work with these people. And I'll tell you another thing about Colombia. It is what it is. It's the largest producer of cocaine. Still, they ain't slowed down. You know, think about the drug war. No, it ain't slowed down. They still make plenty of yayo. But the reason I'm talking about this now is because I believe that cannabis can replace some of this cocaine economy. I mean, the reason these countries produce drugs is because they can. And it's how they fucking buy a ham sandwich. And if you can give them something to produce an economy other than producing a harmful chemical, then they can do so. So it's a very good possibility that Colombia is fixing to step it up and become a producer of not only recreation. Anytime you get into recreation, you get into medical. And I wanted to talk just a minute, Clayton. I'm really going to go out in left field. So do you see, I mean, you see a lot of stuff going on in the industry. So can you see an equatable difference between the quality of medicine and the quality of soil and amendments when a grower uses a higher level like Roots and Aurora products?
Oh, I mean, yeah, for sure. I really feel like to some extent that's a no-brainer. There's people out there who know how to run some salts and they include some organics at certain junctions and they do okay with it. But as far as like, you can get stuff that's pretty shiny and you can definitely get stuff that's big. But as far as getting stuff that's flavorful, flavor has to come from somewhere, you know, and it doesn't come from just an NPK. That is a blank space to grow green plants, you know. If you want to have those terpene profiles and have like a real taste profile, you know, no one's ever said conventional veggies taste so much better than organics. You know, that's never been said. So for whatever reason in our industry, people make that argument, and you know, I'm willing to entertain any argument at this point. I'm very open to the fact that people have their styles, and I try not to, you know, it gets into their pocketbooks and whatever. I've always felt like growing organic, you know, there's places where it's a little bit more work, but it's always been worth it to me. And I've always been an organic gardener. You know, I get jealous of some of the dudes with systems where you know, you put a drip in one time and you never touch that plant again. Like that's got to be great, you know. But that just, it doesn't. I've hung out with those people. You know, they have jars at the circles too. Those jars have never really impressed me that way.
That's a very good way to say it, brother. I got diamonds, yeah, but they got no smell, bro.
Yeah, or taste, you know? I mean, fuck, taste. There's so much to taste. Like, I mean, it really, like, that's been one of the big things about this whole, as the industry's grown, back in the day, I feel like there might have been less product around, but the availability of dank was around. Nowadays, with this, with the market kind of crashing a little bit, or not, I shouldn't say crashing, but with it adjusting to a lower price per unit. I mean, we're seeing people cutting corners, and that whole focus on dank is kind of taking the weight.
You're being kind, dude. When I moved to Oregon, Oregon had the best, cheapest cannabis on the market, and now you go in the shops and it looks like somebody scraped it off their shoe. It is so sad. I mean, I'm not saying the talent's not there. I'm not. But
yeah,
you know, a lot of the craft people can't afford the licenses. Well, I'll tell you right now. I mean, she's working on it. I'll give you an example. Jill's in Oregon. Jill can't grow flowers right now and sell to a shop. She's one of the best growers I ever met in my life. So that's what happens. The people who are selling flowers to the shops now, corporations, businesses, people with backers. And it's when I moved to Oregon, you could buy an ounce of weed for $40 fucking, bro. And it's not like that no more. So.
Yeah, I actually drove past a sign today. It kind of cracked me up. They said $50 ounces, $4 grams.
The race to mediocrity, man. It makes
me outside spinning a sign. You know?
That makes me want to puke. Oh God, I hate that. Yeah. Look, we're gonna come right back and talk with Clayton. We're gonna take a quick break here, real quick, and we're gonna do this. Madigar, what do? We spin the wheel while we're on break. Is that how we do this?
I mean, I guess we could.
Is that what you do? Or you just pick a number? How do you do this shit? Tell me, Earl.
Well, he's got a nice little program that does it for him.
So I'll just pick a number.
We'll have to do a number.
All right, I'm going to pick a number over here in the little doodad. I'm going to pick a number between 1 and 500, and then I'm going to play a song. Madigar, you going to be able to watch it? As a mod, mods going to be ready? All right, you mods watch. I'm loading it right now. We're going to play a song. This is for the CBD package.
You know this. We out here getting it in. Man, don't man. Down on the basement. The Mr. Black is up in here somewhere.
It's all worth it in the end.
All the work that we've been putting in.
It's all worth it in the end.
All the time.
It's all worth it in the end.
All the people inspired.
It's all worth it in the end.
Words that I speak teach those who listen. I don't follow anyone in my own position. Never jab the police under no condition. See my life looking through Mando vision. Made a decision. Holding my ground. Some said I shouldn't do it. Others were proud. Staying original. Rocking the crowd. Teaching this game to those who never doubt. It's about peace. Shaking the belly of the beast. Heading with OGs. Telling me about the streets and I learn. Soak it up and use it. Thinking to what I'm doing, never refuse it. Never lose the motivation to push. My head's on straight, elevating my kush. Look at my situation, try to relate. I'm speaking the truth, and lying in base. Sometimes you gotta still a base to get ahead. Life moving fast, racing in the shed. Mud in the tread of my shoes, kissing the ground. And my life don't unravel. Travel the east, mom in the south. Got their eyes on, they know what I'm about. The police hate, wanna throw us in the pen. If we help one person in the world, it was worth it in the end. Know what I'm saying?
It's all worth it in the end. It's all worth it in the end. It's all worth it in the end.
They're gonna blow the chat up.
See if we're getting close, but I don't see it.
Holy shit, nobody's got it yet. We blowed the fucking chat up. Man, y'all are scaring the shit out of this number. Nobody got it yet?
Nope.
Hey, if y'all don't get it by the time the song goes over, we'll reboot.
I see every number but this number.
All right, we're gonna steal Dago's program for the next one.
Well, this is easy. You just I just do Control F and type in the number, and then as soon as it pops up, it takes me to it, and ain't nobody got it.
We'll get that next time. Y'all went through a whole song. All right, well, while y'all fiddle fart around, I'm going to finish this up. But that was not it. Hey, somebody just got it. No, they didn't. That was close. All right, I want to go back to Clayton real quick and talk about something he didn't even see coming. So I basically State of the Nation. I mean, you know, we are, again, at war. I mean, you know, last year, I thought the tide had turned. I really did. I know California right now is literally, it's all out right now. So, I mean, do you see, I know this has nothing to do with roots. I'm asking you personally. So where do you see the current situation? I mean, obviously America wants this wonderful plant to be legalized, and we've got just a couple of assholes up there. So I'd just like to know your thoughts.
Man, it's really weird right now. I've never been this excited before. I've also never been this perplexed by the situation before. You know, like to give you a little background of my history, I tried to help my father fight brain cancer with medical marijuana. We were facing a 2% success rate, and so at that point, you're willing to do everything. We did do everything. I mean, I know with your diabetes stuff, you're working on diet stuff, and you're focusing on more on health. You know, am I correct with that?
I have something similar. Yes.
Was I off with that? I thought
I have just so you know, I have something called alpha-1, so it's a progressive fatal lung disease, but it is similar. So my liver doesn't produce a protein that protects my internal organs. So it's basically I'm dissolving. It's pretty brutal, to be honest with you.
Are you on a steroid because of that, or is there?
No, I take they take the protein out of your blood, not your blood specifically, but everyone's. And they process it and they put it in me. It costs $12,000 a month. $12,000 at the start of every year for deductible. And I've spin off here. We talk about health, but it's a real fucking thing in this country. I'm lucky that I work hard, have been successful, and has also flaunted my wallet in the law so I can afford a $12,000 a month medication. But a life-saving medication shouldn't cost that much. So back to your father.
Yeah, you know, so having you know, we lost that battle. But I have a high school degree. I am through and through a hydro dude. This has been my whole life. I was not the person who was supposed to be creating a medicine for someone dying of cancer. And so with California legalizing, I'm very excited to see what will come from a plant that hippies growing a flower have made so much change with. Let's see what some scientists can do with it and actually give them a real run at college level science, you know, real fucking science for real medicine. Our culture, you know, we're taking a hit. It's one of those things. I grew up in, you know, the hydro days where when I was working the hydro store, dudes in shades, baseball caps, you know, cash, like it was a different group. But everyone had a lot of respect, and it, you know, they weren't gangsters. They were good dudes. They knew what they were doing. You know, that part, like it's hard for me to celebrate when I am seeing parts of our community that really put their neck out there to develop our community, not making it through the shuffle, you know?
Yeah, I know. You know, when I moved there, there was this cool thing. I don't know how old you are, but when we moved to Oregon, you'd give somebody an ounce, and it was this unspoken thing. And what they did was they gave you an ounce when they harvested. But you remember that shit? It was like, yo, bro, you got a zip? Yeah, I'm in here.
Dude, I can tell you that my dad was just a cool dude. He had a lot of friends. He busted his ass and he did favors for people, and he was just a contractor. He never paid for herb. You know, he lived in Oregon. He had friends who they were out there on the front lines. They were putting their necks out. But yeah, no, it's been that's how you used to get your firewood. You know, that it was a currency. You were in the know, and the dude that gave you your firewood, he fucking loved you. He didn't want your $200. He was hanging out with Subcool, and he was you know, he was stoked on that firewood sale, you know?
No, yeah, you said it so well. And you know, you said something earlier, and then you know, you work super hard doing your thing. We do. I mean, we know each other, we see each other, but you don't, and I don't spend a lot of time knowing what you do. So I'll tell you a little story, that hippie story you talk about. So we went to some good friends of mine went to Harborside about 15 years ago, and they picked up a clone called Harlequin. We know it. And we outcrossed at time this strain that this old hippie made named Subcool with Jack the Ripper, and we made something called Pennywise. And that was cool. We got a 1-to-1. That's cool. People use it all over the world now to breed with. And then we went out and we found that cutting, that Charlotte's ACDC, that Charlotte's Web, and we back crossed it. Hell, I got a fucking 9th grade education, okay? Seriously. All right. And we made deadlights where we hit 28% CBD. And you said it earlier. Can we get this into some people's hands that actually went to college, that actually have a chromography machine that actually can say sub? Yeah. This is why. And let me show you what we can do with this. And that's why I keep fighting, because we have, Clayton, you said earlier, you changed the world, bro, with your company. Changed the world. Huh? All it takes is a little bit of passion. So you put 1 and 2 together, my kind of passion with this kind of passion, and we can change the world. So I do appreciate everything you do. I know that you are much more, the people that you work with are much more than a soil company. I felt it when I visited you guys in Eugene. And we definitely walk the same road. So you guys keep it up. What's next for you?
Man, me or the company?
You yourself. We know what Roots is going to do. They're going to make a lot of soil.
You know, man, I'm getting ready. This time of year is it's a lot like being a rock star, just without all the fame and girls. But I will be on tour on the West Coast for the next 2 months, pretty much doing hydro days and visiting just locations all up. You know, I'm in Washington, Oregon, and California. We run a pretty we call it Sales Team 6. You know, we run a pretty streamlined crew of salespeople. So we are going to be pretty much just on the road for the next couple months. You know, there's a lot. I mean, 420, all the events and shit. You know, there's weeks of events coming up. So. Well,
look, you want to get excited, my brother. You know, me and you have a history. I have saved this to the end of the show. So Without getting crazy, I'm looking at controlling somewhere between 80 and 160,000 square foot of growing space in the next 3 months.
Cool.
And I want to grow my cannabis in roots.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Cool.
So, I mean, I literally on my contract have the right to say how I want it done. And I only know how to grow weed one way. Like, seriously, I only know one way. You get 9 bags of roots and you make super soil and you put plants in it. That's how I do it. So we're going to see you down the road, Clayton. I do appreciate you stopping by. Did we get a winner, Madagar? We're going to have to do this on another show.
Nope.
We'll do it on the next. We'll do it on. Hey, I'm gonna pick a winner on the after show. So look, if you guys want to do something fun, we're gonna take a little break. I'm gonna take Ruby and Fada down into the pool and go check some stuff out. But then we're gonna come back after the show. We're gonna talk about weed nerds, life, fun. I definitely like to thank Clayton for coming on. Learned a lot. I mean, it's almost like me and you grown weed together. We grew so much weed together, bro.
We have a community, man. It's really cool. At its core, we have a good community.
Absolutely. Well, if you ever get down off the West Coast, you are welcome to stop by my place in Mesa, Arizona and see the pool.
When will you be in Oregon next? Will you be in Oregon at all?
Maybe summer.
Okay. Dude, come take a tour. We'd love to have you.
I got to come see your new place, and we'd love to bring the Weed Nerd film crew with you. So
Thank
you, guys. All right, cool. All right, I'm going to take us out with a little Mendo Dope feeling the change. We'll see you guys on the after party. I will pick a winner in the after party. That means y'all got to come to the after show. So that's how that works.
Because when the laws get changed, they're looking at us sideways.
The number was 286, you fuckheads. I mean, good God.
When the laws get changed, they're looking at us sideways. It's time to break these chains. We get about this way. It's time to transform and come up to the surface. Accept life, I'm fulfilling my purpose. World that we living in is one big circus. If time is money, then that lost time is worthless. Say it's curtains when the show's done. Real outlaws stand firm and don't run. This was lost to benefit the rich ones. While some still struggling just to get some. Show my true colors every spot I roam. Stay united with the people so I'm not alone.
Hey, how about a big hand to Clayton and Subcool for holding the whole show together? Thanks, Madagar. Maybe we can get the Weefly folks and fucking Madeline, get them in the same studio. Shout out to Madagar. This show does not happen without his help. Thanks, bro.
Still live? Looks like it.